Okay, we're going to take a look at how to find the inverse given a linear equation. So if I were to give you the equation h of x equals negative 1/2 x minus 1/2. Now remember that this h of x is function notation, which just lets us know, one, that it's a function, and two, that x is the input, and h of x is similar to y. It's just a different naming convention that we use. So the first thing that we're going to do to determine the inverse is switch x and y. Just like when you find the inverse of points, you switch the x and the y, or when you find the inverse of a table, you switch x and y. Now remember that this really is y, so when I go to switch it, I have x equals negative 1/2 y minus 1/2. Okay, now that I've switched it, I want to get the y by itself. Anytime that you're trying to get the variable by itself, or when you're solving an equation, you're going to do the order of operations backwards. So remember, our order of operations is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or PEMDAS. So this is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Now remember, we do addition and subtraction from left to right, multiplying and dividing from left to right. So these two are grouped together. So when I'm doing solving, or when we're trying to get the variable by itself on this one, I want to do the order of operation backwards. So I first want to get rid of any adding or subtracting. So here I'm going to get rid of subtracting 1/2, so I'm going to add 1/2 to the other side. And when I have x plus 1/2, those are not like terms, so I just keep it as x plus 1/2 equals negative 1/2 y. Okay. To get rid of the next thing, multiplying and dividing, see the 1/2 is being multiplied by the y, so I'm going to get rid of multiplying by negative 1/2 by dividing by 1/2. But remember to divide fractions that you flip and multiply. So I'm going to flip the negative 1/2 to be negative 2 over 1, which I realize is just 2. So on this side, I'm just going to write negative 2. Don't forget that you need to distribute the 2 to both, or sorry, the negative 2 to both parts of the equation. So we're going to end up with negative 2x, and then negative 2 times by 1/2 is going to be negative 2/2, which just simplifies to a negative 1, equals y. And then because we started originally with h of x, we have this notation that we use to tell us what the inverse is in function notation. So I can cross this out and we call it h inverse of x, but we write it with this negative 1. So when you see this, you say h inverse of x, you don't say h to the negative 1 of x. Okay, so h inverse of x is negative 2x minus 1. Okay, so let's try another example. So if I have, let's do f of x equals negative x minus 3 over 2. So I'm first going to switch x and y when I'm trying to find the inverse. So remember that f of x is really y. It's just a different notation that we use for it that lets us know it's a function. So I'm going to switch the x and the y around, so I have x equals negative y minus 3 all over 2. I'm going to undo with the order of operations backwards, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of adding and subtracting first, but see here how we have the whole thing being divided by 2? So we're going to get rid of this first, since the whole thing is being divided by 2. So I'm going to skip here to the divide by 2 part, and I'm going to get rid of dividing by 2 by multiplying by 2. So I get 2x equals negative y minus 3. Now I'm going to go back to my add subtract. I'm going to add 3. 2x and 3 are not like terms because the 2 has an x and the 3 doesn't, equals negative y. Now, the negative in front of the y is really a negative unsaid 1, and it's being multiplied. So now I'm going to get rid of multiplying by dividing. So I'm going to divide by a negative 1. Oops. So I get negative 2x minus 3 equals y. But remember at the end that I have this new name for the inverse. Since it's written in function notation, I'm going to write it as f inverse of x. And that's how you find the inverses of lines.